Hello everyone, I am Preeti Swami. Today I am talk about the concept of HTTP. HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. So let's see what is a HTTP. HTTP means Hypertext Transfer Protocol. In this slide, I am explaining the functions of protocol, especially HTTP as indicated at the bottom of left of this slide. HTTP is a protocol used for transforming various types of data in between server and clients. This data type is included. See, first is a plain text, next hypertext, images, next video, next is sounds. It also supports the transfer of meta information along with the data. Let's see uniform resources. First is URL means Uniform Resource Locator. That means identifies a resources by location includes the protocols. For example, HTTP, FTP, and Melto, and points to documents on a particular server. Next is a URN. URN means Uniform Resource Name. Identifies a resources by a persistence of globally unique names. Remains a valid if the resource is location changes. See the URI, that means Uniform Resource Identifiers. URI stands for Uniform Resource Identifier. It refers to collections of both. First is the URLs, means Uniform Resource Locators, and second one URNs, means Uniform Resource Names. In essence, a URI is general term that encompasses both URLs and URNs, which are used to uniquely identify a resources on the internet. Next is a URL. URL is typically follows this format. You can see this format, and also this this is all are components of a URL. First one is a scheme. Scheme means the protocol is being used. For example, HTTP, HTTPS, FTP. Next, second one is a host. The domain name or IP addresses of the server. IP means you all are know internet protocol. Third one is a port. Port means the TCP port and number the server is using. For example, ATF or HTTP. And next is 443F or HTTPS. Fourth one is a path. Path means the specific path to the resource on the server, like a file or directory. So now we are continue the explanations of URL and focus on the remaining components of its structures. These are additional components. First one is parameter. Parameter means a specific values the objects and resources might need. For example, sections, IDs or options. Second one is query. Query means a query string often is used to pass a data to programs like CGI programs. Next, third one is a fragment. Fragment means a reference to a specific part or a section of the resources. For example, a location within a web page identified with hash. This is a complete breakdown of URL structures and showing how the additional data can be passed and targeted within a web addresses. Next is URL and HTTP. All parts of a URL except for parameters are typically used with HTTP protocol. A scheme and host can be left out if reference object is on the same machine as the referring documents. Next, a port number. Port number can be omitted if the reference host is using default port listed in etc services, which is usually a port of 80 for HTTP. This is all our flexibility of URL components when used in a local or standard HTTP contents. Now we learn full path is used when referring to another server, and relative path can be used when referencing a resource on the same server. A reference is using a relative path is called a partial URL. A query part of a URL is used to pass parameter to CGI. CGI, that means a common gateway interface program. Next is a fragment is allows a jumping to specific label or section within a web pages. You can see this example navigates to the four sessions in page Z. These all are things highlights the use of absolute and relative path and explain the purpose of the query and the fragment components in URLs. Now we learn communication. Text and inline images are treated as separate objects in a web communications. A client browser can optionally send a list of formats to the server. Next, a document can also be a program, not just a static content. A web server is execute a program and return the result to the client. Such a program is referred to scripts, gateway, or a gateway script. These all are things explains how the clients and server is exchange the data and highlight the role of dynamic content generations with a server side programs. Next we learn the scripts HTTP. A script is a process is input from the clients, that means interpreting the data is received. Calls other programs. That means they can invoke or interact with other programs to perform a specific task. Next, they finally translate the output from those programs and send the result back to the clients. These things is explaining the role of server-side scripts in handling a client request, acting as intermediaries between clients and other backend programs. Now we learn HTTP feature. Where is HTTP feature? First is the extensibility. That means of HTTP is often achieved by adding a new MIME headers has been the traditional way of extending HTTP. Next is the drawbacks. This method is included no clear indication if the receiving end supports the new extension. Next is the uncertainty whether an extension is a main for all entities along the message path or just intermediaries. Next is a no specified order for how the extension should be proceed, should be interpreted. These all are things highlights the limitations in HTTPS, a current extensibility approaches and suggests a potential areas for improvements. So I have been told about all the HTTP. So thank you.